Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lizard Brains podcast. I'm your host, DJ Allison Drini. I'm joined by my co-host, Tom O'Gorman. Tom, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? That was a good one.
Yeah, you know what? I started the intro and I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling it. I felt like it was like a little bit of a,
Oh,
yeah, it was a little bit of a dopamine hit,
Lizard,
just like flying in.
lizard.
Yeah,
nice. I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It is as your title for the stage, sim season is starting and it does feel that way. I've been sim racing a lot. Like a lot. My body is sore.
Is it a sign that you have your stuff turned up too strong if you're like physically sore from sim racing?
Nah, that means you're getting it.
Means you're getting it. Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing that goes for me is my left knee. I think it's because of
Same.
the angle that my pedals. Really, yours is too?
Yeah, but I have Fanatec V3, so the pedals are kind of like close to each other.
Yeah, I think
But
it's because when you're driving a real car, you're bracing with your left leg usually. So
yeah,
like there's force there.
I
Hmm.
don't know. After a race, we can especially especially if it's in a car without like a full harness, I kind of find my left leg like shoving into the dead pedal like so hard that it's like keeping me in the seat, and my left leg will be sore like after a track weekend if it's like a stock car. If I have a harness, I'm normally not bracing on anything just because I'm bolted to this seat.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I I try to remember to like have some sort. I mean, obviously hydration is the biggest thing, but I also have started on like long race weekends. I get like a jar of pickles or something so that I have something to stop cramp because my hips cramp after long stints sometimes if the seat doesn't fit properly.
That happened on the Lucky Dog race, but I think it's because the way I was like belted in, like the left like hip belt was like because I had to boost myself because I'm short to like see
Yeah.
to see the hood of the car. So I had to boost myself a lot so that like the belts weren't like the absolutely correct. And that's normal for endurance racing. But they weren't like perfect to what I needed. So like the one of the hip belts was kind of like squishing my leg a little bit. So yeah, I was like limping the next day because like my hip started spasming at some point while I was driving. I didn't really notice because you're like so focused on the
Hmm.
driving. But when I got out, I was like, oh, oh, what happened over here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I had I mean, I've put on some weight and because of that, I don't fit in the cars as well as I used to and I used to take that for granted. But the biggest problem I had at pit was when I was doing other like data laps and even in T3, I didn't the sub belt didn't fit like very well. So it like reached everything, but there was like some pinching and some like very uncomfortable things happening down there, like right on my inner thighs, which was so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I
I
think
bet.
Kevin Zoo's car was the worst though. Kevin's car gave me like a big bruise, which is like, oh,
I
that's
had
not
to,
good.
if I'm remembering right, to fit in Kevin's seat, I had to like sit on it and then like wiggle myself like into it. Like I couldn't just sit in the seat. I had to like sit in it and then like bounce until I like sunk into it because that's how
Yeah.
tight it was.
Okay, we're talking about electrolytes in the chat. So yes, Taylor, pickle juice helps cramps as well as bananas.
Hmm.
But Adam says sucking down a pack of mustard.
What?
Ooh.
Does that even have salt or anything in it?
Ooh, I don't know about that one, bud. I
I
mean, if it helps, it helps, but
I mean I am a mustard fan, but like I don't know if I could do mustard just straight up. I'll have to try it
okay,
at some point,
I
but
think we keep this podcast sour cream centric as far as
yeah, I could
uh
do sour cream
condiments
straight up.
goes.
Yeah, I can spoon some sour cream, but I don't know about just like straight mustard. That sounds like a lot.
I've never thought about that being a what is mustard? Is it a seed?
It's a seed, yeah.
Okay. All
It's
right.
it's
Well,
supposed to be like pretty good for you and stuff and things and
sure.
yeah, sure. I'm sure it's
All
great.
right.
My go-to
um
sandwich when I was a teenager, because I'm a teenager and don't know how to cook anything. I don't know how to cook anything now, but like I've moved on from deli meats. Was a ham sandwich with mustard. Like I like lived off of that like for like probably like the first, I don't know, 19 years of my life.
that works okay.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I when I was younger than this or younger than that age, but when I was in first grade, my favorite go-to lunch sandwich was a grape jelly and American cheese sandwich.
Ugh, what? No.
I was such a weird kid.
Have you tried eating that recently and see if some nostalgia kicks in?
I no, I haven't even tried it on like white bread, just like a little kid
So
would.
just
I
like
don't even know where that came up with. I'm gonna
cheapest
blame one of
bread.
my parents.
Yeah.
One of them made it for me. I don't know. Did I
Why would
ask
they
for it?
make
I don't
that?
know.
Why would they make that? I feel like I have to try it. I'm gonna try it. You know what I'm gonna do?
Also,
Wait, was peanut butter on it?
no, zero nutritional value there. White bread with grape jelly and cheese. Are you kidding?
Was it American
I
cheese
mean,
or was it actually cheese?
just American cheese.
Oh, gross. So
So
it was
no,
just
not
like
even cheese.
oil. It was like oil because that's what American cheese is, right? It's just like some kind of like dried up oil. So it was oil, sugar, and bread. That's what it was.
Yeah, gross.
Nice.
Honestly, it's kind of like a first grader's charcuterie board.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna report back.
Okay. Deal. Did you drive anything this weekend? You did an autocross, right?
I tried, but they canceled it. It's for this weekend, but I'm not sure if the weather will hold out. I don't know why they canceled it this last weekend. The weather was like absolutely beautiful, and it's probably one of the last like beautiful weekends of the year.
Yeah.
So big bummer.
Was it um was it low entries or something?
I don't know. I don't know why they
Huh.
canceled it. The communication of that club is not like super top notch. Like I went to go sign up for it and I couldn't find it. And then I saw one for the 9th which is this upcoming weekend. And I was like, okay, well, are they having that one too? And then I started like searching around and I was like, oh, I guess the one that was scheduled for the 3rd or the 2nd, whatever Sunday would have been, just doesn't exist.
Or
So
maybe it never existed in the first place.
yeah, I could have hallucinated that, which is, completely reasonable. But it was on my calendar for a long time because I was looking through all of like the local ish autocross clubs and then trying to fill out my calendar as far as possible. So at some point in the past, there was an Akron Sports Car Club event on that Sunday. And then when I went to go sign up for it, it wasn't there.
I see. So you, like me, did a bunch of sim racing. Oh, we
Yes.
did a sim race too. I forgot we did a sim
Oh
race together. Or
no,
tried.
that one went terribly. I already blocked it out of my mind. It went terribly because of me, by the way. I'm sure Tom would have done great. But
Yeah, maybe.
that was the
I
most
was
like
I was happy to get out of it. I was honestly. So we did it. It was a 3 hour. It's a Champ Car endurance series sim racing league. If anybody listening to this wants to join it, I think you can still just join. They're like every Saturday
I,
in November,
yeah, I can you,
or
you keep
is it monthly or weekly?
you keep
You go ahead.
explaining it and I'll look up what the schedule is.
3 hour endurance race. It was GT4 cars at Daytona, and DJ had the idea to like try to get some podcast listeners to do it, and basically nobody did it overall. There were like 12 teams,
Yeah.
but
Every
he
2
roped
weeks.
me into doing it
Every 2
every
weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really get a say in the matter. It's just like I was told we're doing that race.
Hmm.
So we're talking about our strategy and whatever, and it's kind of like puddly in the sim, and I don't like the way that iRacing's like puddling works
It's
when
really bad
drying.
right now. It's been better in the past, but like for some reason, like when sessions switch over, the puddles like grow even if it didn't rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. They work properly, like the way a car hitting a puddle at 100 miles an hour would do, but that's just not how tracks dry. So anyway, I was like, you should start the race because I don't want to do the qualifying in the wet or the puddles, and I don't want to race in the puddles. It's going to dry out, and you can only do 40-minute stints with the fuel. So I was like, all right, so I'll have like the first 40 minutes of the race off. I'll just sit here and watch, hang out. And I was listening to a podcast actually with your race underneath,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I see the car spinning violently left towards the wall in the bus stop,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I was like, "Whew,
I
I got
kind
away
of
with that one."
yeah, I kind of
I
messed
don't
that
have
one
to
up,
drive.
huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of goofed it a little bit. I goofed it before that though because you were like, "Oh, maybe we should fuel save." But I really thought just because it looked like they were like struggling for pace behind me, I thought if I can just break the draft like even a little bit. But I just don't think there was enough cars on track for any like lap traffic or not multi-class or anything cuz I think I had better pace to just like run. But because there was not that many cars, that sitting in the draft was like relatively easy. So I would see them make mistakes. I would get like almost a breakaway distance from them, and then they would close back up. So I was like burning fuel a lot trying to like get this gap because if I got the gap and then I just like put like, you know, time on them every single lap, then like that's valuable for like the rest of the race. It didn't look like that was going to happen, and then I could only I was one lap shorter on fuel than they were, which means that they got another lap on warm tires. And so I was pushing on the cold tires trying to minimize the damage, and then that's when it caught me out. Womp womp. So
Yeah.
live and learn.
I'm really not a fan of that update tire on that car. If we can get sim nerdy for a second. I really don't like them.
If
We're talking the new tires on GT4 cars.
Yeah, I think there was something particular about that setup and how the cold tires were. Um, it normally doesn't feel that terrible. There's something about it like being just out of the pits too. It's like pretty bad. And then if you're pushing, it's like really bad. Like if you're pushing like right out the rip, because iRacing does this thing where it's like a and I don't know if they still do it, but it feels like they are. I don't know. I don't know the technical data, but this is getting real nerdy, by the way. So if you want to skip like 30 seconds, go ahead. But basically, there's a delta between the core temp of the tire and the surface temp of the tire. And if the surface temp is like hotter than the core temp, then it thinks that it got like smoked and like now it should be greasy. So even if the tire's cold, uh, and you like go for a little bit of a slide, now that surface temp delta is much higher than the core temp. So that's why it's like all of a sudden like you have zero grip. So any kind of sliding on the outlap when you're on cold tires just like extends the problem of like cold tires like tenfold. So there
Yeah.
might have been some of that, like especially with like the the horseshoes, like you're putting extra surface temp into them because you're accelerating out like at the limit of adhesion. There's no way to like set them in early, so maybe that was a Daytona thing, but it's normally not that deadly. But at Daytona, it was a little, it was particularly tough.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm assuming that those cars are modeled to have the same tire that the real ones race on in IMSA, which I've driven on the TCR cars, and they stay difficult to drive for much longer than any other tire I've ever driven. But they're pretty durable. Like they tended to get faster for the first like 30 minutes of the stint. And even actually at Mid Ohio, the last IMSA race I did, it got faster and faster all the way to the end. So like that part of it's somewhat realistic.
Yeah,
And I've seen even when you go watch the IMSA races now, you can see even like the GTP cars are struggling for their lives
a
on
lot.
the cold tires.
Yeah.
So I know that that's accurate. It's just it doesn't translate into what I expect from the car in the simulator very well. It has a dullness to it now that I don't appreciate, and it's like I want the car to tell me as it's transferring from braking grip through into the cornering grip, and it just doesn't do that like the older model. Well, it may not have been as realistic, I guess. I don't know. Just told you what was happening through the entry of the corner better,
Yeah, I
and I
think
have not figured it's honestly, like, because GT4 cars are so popular, that's what most of our friends race and what we play so often, and now that that's the way that it is, it makes me not wanna play GT4 cars, so I just don't play iRacing right now.
I think uh part of that numbness that you're feeling is you kind of have like a really entry level wheel that's old. And if it was higher output, then there's more of a difference between like when the tire's warm and it's like fully loaded up in sim, and then when it's cold and like you. All right, so we had a power surge. The recording is back. I was talking about how you have like an entry level, like kind of an older wheel. Uh,
Don't talk about my wheel that way.
so the total amount of
I can
force
hear
that it
you.
can put out is relatively small. So then,
Yeah.
there needs to be a difference between when the like tire is fully loaded up and when it's like only loading up a little bit. So a higher force wheel will give you that like range of where you like still feel the tire loading up, even though it's like not as loaded up as much as when it's warm.
I see what you're saying, but I've had this wheel for so long, and I don't have that problem in every car. So I still think it's the change into the change of the simulator is something I've not been able to enjoy yet. Although I did have a moment of brilliance this weekend. You remember, guys? I
Uh,
beat DJ in a sim race.
Wait, when
Oh,
was this? Oh, was this the Seto Corsa?
No, 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 no. We'll get to Assetto Corsa, but we raced Miatas at Spa with a
Oh
league
my
called
goodness.
Apex This.
Yes, hold on. He beat me. He got DQ'd as he like was going across the line.
No, no, no. Yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
We're
we
not
we
we're not
did
gonna
this.
pay attention to that part of it.
It's because they an incident limit in an MX-5 race of 8. Are you kidding me? Like, what are we doing? We're playing with the
I
bumpers
was
up
playing
and the
within the
training wheels on.
rules. I was playing within the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rules. Oh,
You know
okay.
why I got 8 incident points? Because I came from 15th to beat your ass for second.
Yeah.
Oh!
I'm sorry.
Oh!
I'm sorry you started back there.
I know. I did my best, and then all of a sudden I kept going forward and forward, and I had like one of those moments of brilliance in sim racing that never happens.
Well,
Uh,
it also
and
helped
all of a
that
sudden I was like I'm like near DJ right now. What's happening? and
yeah,
then and then the last scrum of the spa layout, obviously with the double hairpin chicane at the end. We're like it's all 17 of us just trying to win at the last bit,
yeah,
and
it was pretty chaotic. There that spa race in the MX-5. Well, first off, we both joined it with like what, one lap of practice around spa, and then quali started, and then we just like did whatever we could, and then that's where we ended up, right? And then but the draft is so strong that I would say for like most of it, because there's a guy named Chase in the race, which apparently you used to work with.
yeah, shout out to Chase Dempfleet.
Yeah.
Also, the way you looked on the camera was hilarious.
Why?
I don't Did you see the picture of him? He had one of the camera setups that went on the live stream, they were showing him race,
Oh yeah,
and he
yeah,
looked like
yeah.
he looked like Randy Savage or something. He's
I
racing
thought I
in,
had
like,
some
tap-out
sunglasses in here.
glasses.
Yeah, I was gonna put on some sunglasses, but yeah, he looked. Can you imagine sim racing in a dark room with sunglasses on? That seems like I would be like,
No!
yeah, I'd be like,
I
ugh,
was I it
gross,
was
get this off
hysterical.
of me.
Yeah, he was one of the when we opened the kart track, there were, like, 3 demographics of people that worked there. There was the SCCA people, mostly autocrossers who tried to get jobs there. There were, a bunch of kids from or people from, G&J Kartway in Camden, the Ohio Valley Karting Association, that tried to get jobs there, and then, like, a bunch of random high school kids. So he was one of the kids from OVKA, and that's how we know each other. He
Gotcha.
was, honestly, he was one of the other, like there were, like, 5 of us that would exchange track records every winter, and then, like, whoever had it by the end of February would keep it until the next winter, and then we'd fight over it again.
Yeah,
And he was, like, one of the kids that was, like, up there too.
that's fun. That's fun. That's cool that you guys had a little bit of a reunion. Um, anyways, he was the fastest, like at the beginning of the
Yeah.
race, and you could just tell, like first off, he qualified pole, and he was just getting really good runs out of turn one and just like in other places. So I was perfectly content, and I remember during the race, I said, "I'm here only by I rating and name because I didn't actually deserve to be where I was because I was making so many mistakes." But people would just like give me a bump draft anyways because they're like, "Well, I'm not gonna pass DJ. He's faster than me," or something. Like they would think that, even though in the moment I wasn't. But I spent the race like learning to where I was slower, like experimenting around. Like I actually got like practice in as like the race went on because it was a 20-minute race and then there was another 20-minute race. And so for like 20 minutes, I'm practicing. And then by the end of like the first race, I was like, okay, if we did quality again, I think I would get pole position because like I actually got some laps in, and then I felt like I understood how to make time in the Miata at Spa. It's not I hardly drive the Miata anymore, so it was a nice little change up to what
Yeah.
we have been driving.
Honestly, I think the Miata felt pretty good. I enjoyed that one. Um, I enjoyed that race and that driving that car.
It was fun. That was a good time.
Yeah.
I would say like most of the race, I was just kind of sitting there learning. I wasn't really racing because the draft was so strong. A lot of times I was just defending Chase. Like somebody would go to like pass both of us, and I would pop out to make it like, you really want to make it 3 wide in this corner? And then they'd be like, nah, never mind. I don't want to do that. And then I would like break a little early, and then I file back in. Like I was playing like Chase's tail gunner. I don't even know if he realized I was doing that, but I remember Kenton would do that for me when we would do Miata races together. Is Kenton would always play tail gunner, and I would just like cut laps in front, like just do the fastest laps I could. And Kenton's like fighting everyone behind me. So
Yeah,
I was kind of
he's
doing
good
that
at
for
that.
Chase this time around. It was kind of fun.
And then did you win the second race? I promptly crashed out of
No,
the second
no,
race.
I I could have. I had a little slip in the right hander of the last bus stop, which set me a little bit behind, but I think I could have still gotten it. But whoever was in first kind of like ran me off the track, and then I just didn't have a run after that. So You know, Miata
The
racing at
hell?
Spa, you can just kind of assume that's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
But I did get breaking news. I got DJ to play Assetto Corsa and have fun doing
I
it
did have fun. That was a
because
really good mod.
this is a thing that we've been going through ever since COVID when we found out you could race uh the not found out, I guess tried to race the Tokyo Extreme Racer like Shitoku like city highways. There's a mod for it that is like based on this game that Eric Coutil loved. So we all downloaded it and whatever. And you were the only one that could never really have fun with it because it was not like
Competition?
it wasn't your thing and it wasn't competition either. Yeah. So it's been a running joke ever since that I can never get DJ to play Assetto Corsa. But there's a league that I've been doing for time trials. They run like a weekly competition or maybe 2 weeks. I forget however how often it updates. Um, with Sim House, they do like a here are 5 or 7 cars and it keeps like a scoreboard for time attack. And you can just go do laps whenever. So I've been doing that, and especially if the mod's good or the car combo is good, I'll do a bunch of laps.
Yeah, you
Um,
did a ton of laps this week, you little animal. Like, what? Nobody's gonna. You're
so
just
after the
lizarding it
Daytona
so
race,
hard.
after the incident of the Daytona race, I was like, hey, let's try this competition just updated, and it's like 2000s GT and LMPs at Road Atlanta.
And
When the
I don't know if you guys have ever been doing a team race with your friends, and then you're the one that biffs the car, and now like the race is over because you screwed it up, but you want to do anything other than iRacing in that moment. So it was
yeah,
Tom. Tom saw that I was vulnerable, and he's like, "Now's my chance. I'm gonna get DJ to play Assetto Corsa," and he got me.
yeah. So then we probably spent like an hour or two doing that.
Pretty long. I
The
mean,
main challenge,
I needed
I think they
water. I
give away
ran
a
out of water at some point. That's like what got
yeah,
me. That's what got me off the sim rig. Is I was like, oh, I ran out of supplies. I need to go make a refill.
yeah, supplies. So they do like they pick one car every week of the collection, and then the top time of that specific car, I think it's a $20 Amazon gift card or something. So it's like a prize. So we were doing the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car that was like the 2004 Cup car or
And it's a
something. Just
mod.
like doing laps and laps and laps. It's a mod for the game. It's actually good, like
It's
a
a really
nice
good
mod.
mod. It drives just like a car that like came with the game that was made by like professional game developers. Like it was it like because a lot of times when you drive these mods for Assetto Corsa, sometimes they're just really weird. Like sometimes they just drive funny. Like the force feedback is weird. It just doesn't like there was one of the cars felt really weird on the Viper. Like that one just felt broken. Like that one didn't operate correctly. That's normally when Tom's like, "Come on and come do these mods with me." That's normally how the cars drive, and I'm like, I'm having zero fun driving this thing. I have no idea what it's
Yeah.
doing.
If we haven't lost you yet and you don't know a bunch about sim racing, if you know how to like 3D model and code, you can basically make a car and a track for games like Assetto Corsa because they're open source. Whereas like iRacing is all locked down, so you can't just make up whatever. But I have like I've talked about it on the podcast before. I have like hundreds of. I've had to start cleaning space off my computer because I got too many Assetto Corsa mods. Um, but yeah, they're 80% of them suck. But anyway, I after you got off to get more supplies, I just kept doing laps in the Porsche because you had beat me at that point, so I needed to beat you back.
Hmm.
And then I didn't even go faster in the next like 2 hours, and I just kept driving laps, and I kind of
Because you
blacked
were just
out, and I
having
had done
fun.
like 60 laps. Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I was attempting to go faster, but I never did.
yeah.
I just did a ton of laps, and then the next morning I had, or after a sleep, I got back on and went quicker. But
Yeah, so that's
it's a good time.
that's something that I share with the people that I'm sim coaching for, and a lot of times I'm sim coaching them for like like a league race or something like that. And what I'll see sometimes, and I always try to coach them away from it, is that they'll try to do all their practice like either right before the race or like one day during the week they'll like binge like 2 hours or whatever. And it's those 2 hours are not that effective, especially if you do it right before the race. What's most effective is you get on for 15, 20 minutes, you do some laps, you get off. And then, like a little bit later, either the next day or maybe later that evening or whatever, you do like 15, 20 minutes again. And even if it's the same amount of practice time, just the multiple reps is going to be so much more effective for your understanding and your ability to execute on setting the fast laps.
Yeah.
So,
I can identify at this point when I'm starting to feel it. It manifests for me as feeling bored, and as soon as I feel bored, I know I'm not going to do anything more productive. That's usually my time to quit. But yeah, if you hit that sweet spot by preparing just enough so that you're like in it when you need to be in it. For me, it happens relatively quick because I do get bored quickly.
Yeah, Tom gets bored after like 2 laps.
So I do just do my like quote unquote practice right before. So I'm like hopefully peaking and like qualifying without getting
So,
bored.
yeah, Tom does 2 laps of practice because lap 3 is where he peaks, and that will be during qualifying.
And that's not to say my peak is very good. I still crash too much and I'm still not very fast. Like you're still like a second faster than me most of the time or more,
Unless like
especially
something lizards you in and like you get a bunch of laps in, and then we're like the same speed.
yep.
Depending on the car, especially like an LMP2, Tom will be faster.
I wonder why don't you just you don't find downforce cars interesting? Why am I faster than you in fast downforce cars?
I don't know. Maybe something to dig into at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's still not the case. I don't know. But I think there's something about the way your brain um interprets how to make speed in those things is a little bit more probably just more practiced. Like your subconscious executables are aligned more to make speed in those cars than mine are. I will say that I tend to drive cars with doors most of the time in Sims, and you kind of drive like a like this large like arrangement of like random and different things. So those the prototypes generally drive a bit different than cars with doors. So like it's probably just a little outside of where I have those subconscious executables.
Yeah. Or well, if you remember the Solanats episode where I said you to go faster, you just have to go faster. I mean,
It's
maybe that's why I'm a downforce genius. I don't
yeah,
know.
maybe I don't know. Maybe this whole time Tom's been wasting his time driving cars with doors, and he needs to drive formula cars.
Yeah. That would be fun. I've only driven one formula car.
And it didn't even have
But
a wing on it.
no, it did. A Formula Enterprise,
Oh, I thought you were talking
SCCA
about
car.
because you drove a Formula Ford at Watkins Glen at some point, didn't you?
No, that was the FE2.
Oh, okay. I'm mixing up cars.
I guess I've autocrossed Formula Fords, but that doesn't really count.
No, I bet they're super floaty at speeds.
They look super fun.
Yeah, they do. I
There
wish
was big debate in that community recently. I think it's still ongoing about taking them off the Hoosiers and putting them on like a treaded tire because I think they race on treaded tires in Europe, and it's like
what what treaded tire do they do like BFGs or something? Like I aren't they on some like really old like radial in Europe or oh, I'm thinking of the Skip Barbers. Never mind. I'm sorry.
sure. I think that's smart. I mean, we were talking about tire budgets and stuff in the Discord recently about how like when GLTC went from Hoosiers to 200 treadwear and our tire budget to race 7 races in 2021 was almost $15,000 in tires. If you wanted to be competitive, you needed stickers every weekend, 4 tires every weekend. And then when they went to 200 treadwear, 10 weekends on Kumos was right about $4,000.
Yeah, because they would last what, like 2 or 3 weekends competitively?
Competitively 3 for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like that was like the best thing they could have done for people by a long way.
Yeah. And then
Like a free $11,000 back in your pocket.
this came up in the Discord as well, is like Spec MX5 is now going to the Hoosier instead of like the cheaper Toyos that they were on. Why?
Yeah.
It's a spec
Yeah.
class. Like, was there problems with like the multi-class interaction, or I'm not sure. Like, what are we doing? Like,
I looked it up. When I saw that announcement, I looked it up. It was like
Miss
uh
Jackie in the chat said
$270.
Miss Jackie said major Toyo issues. Do you want to elaborate on that, Jackie? Maybe we'll share it.
Yeah, what's the gossip?
Yeah, give us the tea.
I looked it up. The the Toyos were $270 a tire, and the Hoosier is 430 a tire in the same size for those cars. I'm like, ugh. I get like having a tire an issue with the specific tire, but you just made everybody's seasons exponentially more expensive,
Way
which
more
is just
expensive.
unfair.
Yeah. You think about like tires besides travel, and tires might even be more than travel. Tires is like the biggest cost of every single weekend.
Yeah. And yeah, for time pursuit events, I think tires is great. And especially also like a certain level. For example, this is another great example from Grid Life. GLGT does not have a tire restriction. Like they don't have an exclusion list or anything. You run whatever you want, 200 treadwear, because you're already choosing to race like a GT4 level car. You're probably, excuse me, probably less concerned with the tire budget. But a
Yeah.
TC car, you can only run like Falcons, Kumos. What was the other? Maxis, and uh, obviously tires still aren't cheap, but ruling out the most expensive, fastest tires that burn out fastest is like such a fair competitor thing for them to do.
Yeah, it like organizations should be looking at the and I think Grassroots Motorsports just had an article come out that was talking about like the longevity of tires and like how they last. And organizations should be looking at like, okay, yeah, however fast the tire is, whatever. But like, is it close to the same speed after like 10 heat cycles? Is it close to the same speed after like, I don't know, 15 or 20? Right. And then like I think after like 20, it's acceptable for it to like start falling off. But when it's like if the tire has a sweet spot at all with the heat cycles, if the class is really competitive, you're just basically forcing people to live in that sweet spot. And if that sweet spot's very tiny, then it's like you're gonna make sure you're in that sweet spot for like, you know, the quali in the races or however it needs to end up. Or if the sweet spot's really, really tiny, like we were being told that the new Falcons are worth like a lot of time or whatever, like brand new. And people were running like a set every race for for GLTC. Like that's crazy. Like what are we doing? Like that's if I and I don't even know if that's true. If the Falcon has like this like sweet spot, like brand new. I've never noticed that driving on a Falcon, but I guess I don't have that much time on the 660 pluses. Uh, like y- by that being the tire, uh, that is competitive, then you're basically encouraging people to run a set like every time. So you need to have like rules that make it where like you can't do that or whatever because lizards are going to lizard and you got to like preemptively like you got to protect us from ourselves because we're going to figure out a way to
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like we're going to figure out a way to like to make it where we go the fastest. So like please save us from us. Please.
I think there's something to be said outside of the competition that I think having I don't know how to say this. Uh, I want to be fair in saying this, but I think having a more broad like scope of like people that are economically viable to have in your paddock, it makes the paddock better. Because I think if you like, in my experience, when I go to events where the economics floor is like already so high that people like it's definitely only wealthy people being able to do that. IMSA, Porsche Club, like pick a paddock. When you have a paddock energy that's like everybody's still friendly, I don't think that's a thing. But the flow of the weekend is more like everybody flies in, there's a crew, and then the people who can pay for it. That tends to happen. The people who are driving, excuse me, can afford nicer dinners, so they usually like get out of there after the last session. They don't stay at the track. Um, they can also end up just like deciding not to race because like their ski trip in Aspen sounds more fun or something, you know?
Yeah.
So like I'm saying when that economic bracket is like the only one that's viable for your paddock, it just creates a different energy when you have people like some of the most fun paddocks I've been in have stuff like Sunday Cup or B Spec or I mean like that's why I think autocross is super fun because it's economically viable for so many more people, but it also creates a better community around it because you don't have the opportunity to just like fly in, go have really nice dinners, you know, stay off track, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for grassroots series to be aware of. Like, is that something that you value? And if it does, you should be making decisions for competitors that first save us from ourselves, but also just like keep the economic viability of being there better.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, I think the economic I'll call it economic diversity means that you have a lot more different personalities that have the potential to be there as well. Because I'm sure there's plenty of personalities, myself included, that just like don't make money. like 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 my I don't know if there's a possibility for me to make like big time money. I think I'm too like scatterbrained and like I get focused on things that like are not economically like fruitful. I get like my brain gets stuck on things that involve like a skill that is basically like useless, like driving a car. Like that's not gonna make me any money. So like in order for me to like I'm and people who who are in these like higher end paddocks, like they get sucked into things that like end up being economically fruitful, right? So
Yeah, maybe. I've never thought about it that way, but I think of it just if someone like you or I, we probably have ten to $20,000 a year to play with for fun money. Like we're obviously not like sleeping on couches and poor or whatever.
most of the
I don't
time,
think anybody in motorsports is really can count as poor, right? But
yeah.
if you add a zero to the end of that, it changes the lifestyle a lot. And when you get to a paddock of people who only have $100,000 to play with every
Yeah,
year,
yeah, yeah.
it's just different. It's just
Oh my
different.
goodness. Oh, I would live exactly the same. If I had an extra $100,000, I would live exactly the same. I would just be driving wildly different stuff.
Sure.
I
I think
mean,
I would too. I wouldn't know what to do. I like
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't have like a bigger house or or like maybe I'd have like a slightly nicer like I wouldn't be driving like a 2013 Corolla with like 180,000 miles on it, but like I don't think I would. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would really change anything other than like how far I'm traveling and what I'm driving.
we haven't done one of those games in a little bit. Well, the last time it was a money no object, where would you race? What you said somewhere, did you say Europe?
Yeah, I would
What
want
did
to
you say?
go. I mean, whatever I think would like develop me the most as a driver is where I want to go. So
I would want to try other disciplines.
yeah, I would want the most cutthroat, like make me feel like I'm slow and I have no idea what I'm doing series ever. So like FIA like GT3 if they let me in, maybe I have to do some feeder series before that or something. Yeah. I don't know, like I just want to I want to see like what the potential is and then see if I can get there basically. That's what I want.
It would be cool to be in a series like GTD Pro, FIA GT3, where it's like all properly professional drivers. Either they're not paying for it or they're being paid, and that's like the heavy hitters. I've never been in a series like that. The closest would be that karting thing in Germany that I did, which was like I would say 60 of the people out of the 120 were all that level.
Yeah.
So like breaking into the top 60 was like holy shit. Doing that every week in a GT car would be pretty wild.
That would be pretty wild. Can you imagine how good you'd get at this thing? If you had that instantaneous feedback
Yeah.
all the time, like the competition was just so cutthroat, and at first it would feel a little overwhelming, right? It would just be a lot. It would be like, oh, like it would your brain would have trouble like processing all the information and how aggressive people are and like how accurate everything is. But you would settle in, and you would start learning, and you would start building these like new executables, subconscious executables, like and you would if you just like felt like followed through the process and you believe that you could get there and so you're willing to put in the work, you do the testing days, go through the data, you be critical, all these things, like I I think you would get there. But I just think can you imagine like the driver like so like you spend a couple years in that like absolute cutthroat environment, and then you like do anything else. You're just gonna look like a superhero.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that with well actually when we were playing Assetto Corsa, when I was trying one of the prototypes, just how much faster it was than the Porsche we were just driving. I was kind of thinking about like the people who get opportunities in the scope of like GTP, IndyCar, like maybe they're in a conversation for like an F1 test,
Yeah.
but like that's their like their drop in plug and play in like the fastest cars in the world. What how cool that would be to be one of those people, but also like what a niche. Like we joke that we have a useless skill. We can get in a car and drive pretty fast. They're like at the beyond level that you couldn't drop us in a GTP car and we just got it, right?
No,
I think I'd do okay. I wouldn't crash it or
it
anything,
would
but
take
I like I don't have the delusion that I would be
me at
like
least a couple weekends to be like probably within a second. maybe a half
Or
second.
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
even understand the scale enough to take a
Yeah.
guess. I can say when I got in the GT3 car, I did a good job. I don't think I could get in a GTP car and do a good job, or an Indy car and do a good job. I think I would look like kind of a fool for a little bit. Uh, and those guys, like that's their value. Like they actually can just like drop into an Indy car and do a good job.
I mean, I look at the people in sim racing who are like the fastest of the fast, and like how close can I get to them? I'm imagining it would be the same with like the fastest of the fast in the world to like the people in the sim racing, because like the people that are the best in the sim racing, like that's how much time I'm leaving on the table, right? So I imagine the best of the best, like that's the gap would be similar to like where I am now, which is like a second, second and a half, depending on like the track. Like the absolute tippy tippy top, the best. So I'm imagining I would be about a second off, second and a half, right? And in that field, that means you would like literally qualify last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be the laughing stock.
You'd be way off
You'd be
base.
the like, why is that guy here? Yeah.
Yeah. You'd look like Lance Stroll, and I'm sure Lance Stroll would do perfectly fine in a GTP car.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I wish they just race with 19 cars.
Oh no. uh what an opportunity though.
Well,
You know, if Lance goes and races something else after Formula 1, I bet he's going to do perfectly fine, cuz in the crop of drivers that he's with, like he holds his own most of the time. Like he has some like flubs here and there, but that's probably just because he's pushing so hard to try to keep up with these like absolute alien human beings. Uh, that I think if he was in some like if he went and drove like GT3s, like I think he would be mostly fine.
I'm just a hater and don't think the way he's there is compelling at all.
Well, no, it's not compelling.
Yeah.
Mo- Most
Anyway,
most people that are racing like professional series don't have a compelling story of why they're there. It's like a very small percentage of people that have compelling stories that are there. What are we thinking, like 5-10%?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess with a 20-person pool,
Oh, well, Formula
yeah,
One's a little
maybe.
different. Formula One's a little different. But
Yeah.
even if you're like a killer driver, you still need to bring funding of some sort. Like just look at Sergio Perez. Like
Sure.
the reason why he had drives is because he had the funding from Mexico, some company in Mexico for all those years, right? So even if you're a killer driver, like funding still helps you get a seat.
Well, duh. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, should we do some questions? Do you have anything else from the
From the weekend? Uh,
any
no,
yeah,
no, I think we're good.
from the past week?
Ready to do some questions?
Yeah.
All right. Emails. By the way, update on the Toyo thing. Miss Jackie said that there was shoulder delaminations, tread separations, and sidewall failures. So it sounds like is that just all in the new Toyo? It kind of seems like it is. Just the R, not the RR. I, I don't understand how the RR seemed like it was perfectly fine, and now all of a sudden like the new tires just having issues. Yeah, just the R.
Hmm.
Just go back to the RR.
Oops. Yeah. Honestly, put them on RA1s. That should be the go-to Toyo. Perfectly fine and
or
not good in any
Kumos.
way.
You know, just spec Kumo everywhere. That would be perfectly fine.
I can't. I promise we'll do a question. I still can't believe like Kumo doesn't seem to be interested in the fact that they basically have the best average tire in the business right now.
Yeah. It also it's
Like
super
maybe
fun
they
to
do,
drive on.
but right, it does. It's the like every series that targets that tire, I think, is doing the best job as far as like being respectful of what things cost, how things like how long things last, whatever. Uh, it's like the best one, and then you have to go to like RS4s otherwise.
Yeah, the only thing that holds the Kumo back is that the fact that it kind of doesn't have tread. So if there is any standing water, then you're basically on a slick. So
And Andy Smedegaard says it's fine.
yeah, I mean, I drove Hoosier slicks in rain because my rain tires felt like they were slow, and they were. I went much faster in the rain on slicks than I did on PS4s back in the GLTC days. So yeah, you can definitely drive around in the rain on the slicks. It's just when things go poorly, they go poorly very quickly.
Yeah.
So all right, questions. Where we at? You got one
This
queued
is
up or
from
no?
Drew. I do. This is kind of relating to our sim conversation we've had or been having. Drew says, I'm the type of person who likes to see improvement in order to have fun. And by seeing that improvement, it motivates me. For example, placing higher in packs or class at autocross and dropping big chunks of time at solo nationals. However, when it comes to sim racing, I find it hard to stay motivated when every race get involved in ends with incidents 75% of the time. Oh, and 75% of the time, I'm the victim. The amount of times I've been crashed out of P1 is pretty crazy. I also always try my best to keep my nose clean. So, how do y'all stay motivated to have fun in racing sims? I'll get motivated when I get on iRacing, run a couple races, get taken out by other people, then not touch it for months because I'm not seeing any improvement.
All right.
Speaking of my soul here, bud.
Yeah, I got some ideas that could help Drew here, and probably a lot of people, because I actually see this a lot. And some people have this misconception in iRacing, at least, that the safety rating is going to impact the quality of racing that they're having. And that is just simply not the case. The quality of racing is going to go up when your I rating goes up, because those people are more accurate and they're just better. So they're less prone for mistakes that end up taking you out. So the like seriously, the easiest way for you to have cleaner, more consistent racing is to literally just get better at the like cutting a lap time part of racing. The other thing that you can do um, is when you are in an incident, no, I would say like 90%, maybe even 95% of all crashes, yeah, it took two people to have that crash. Like at some point, one person could have decided to not have the crash, and then there wouldn't have been a crash. I'd say very, very rarely the crash was just one person being an absolute buffoon, and that led to your demise. And then my third piece of advice is do leagues, because those people are generally held more accountable than somebody in a random official. And you can build up your skill and your consistency in the league in a little bit safer environment. So then that way, when you go do the officials, you'll, you don't have to like claw out of this like iRacing hole or this iRating hole where you're trying to get better at the thing, but like you're having to contend with everyone else to try to get better at the thing. Get better in a league where people are held more accountable. And then once you're better, you'll get a higher I rating, and then that will put you in splits and in groups on track where those people are just generally better at keeping their car where they intend to keep it. And you'll probably have better races.
I like that last one a lot. The first one's hilarious. Just get better.
I
It's
mean,
very
that's,
funny,
I mean,
but it is true.
that is true. It's like if I ever, if I ever like completely botch quali, I know I'm in a little bit more of a dangerous group than when I really put a good lap together. It's like, because in order to put that lap together, all these people have to be just as accurate as me to put that lap, like all the people I'm around. So if I really muck up a lap, then I'm around everyone else who also mucked up laps, meaning that we're all inaccurate. And like at any moment, one of us can inaccurate into each other. And now all of a sudden you're feeling all mad.
That reminds me of the drivers meeting from that Champ Car race, sim race, which was like, what did he say? If you're hitting people or spinning a lot, what was his word? You
Taken
will
care of,
be
or uh,
yeah, it was like you will be attended to. Yeah, something like
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
very corporate. It was very funny, whatever word he used.
It sounded like HR explaining that
Yeah.
somebody needed to improve their behavior. That's exactly what it sounded like.
I relate to this a lot, Drew. I go through the exact same journey with being frustrated. Tend to try I tend to be better at racing than I am at pace in sim racing. So I race people the way I would in real life, which puts me in positions to be part of the problem, like when incidents happen. Um, so that kind of helped me, not help me. I focused on this earlier this year when I was iRacing much more often. I was motivated by the idea of not being crashed into all the time. If and my goal was to just get faster, not because I cared about being competitive, but because I wanted higher quality experiences in the sim, and it truly did work. And I think to DJ's point, doing practice sessions with real people and leagues to get like properly quicker for the sake of higher quality experiences is like a good way to look at it.
And
I don't know that I have advice other than like that's just saying get better, but
yeah, well,
it's
so
tough.
there's certain things that you can get better at. It's not just like you, first off, like obviously setting faster laps, you'll just be around people that are better. We've already said that. The other thing you can get better at is as you're catching somebody or maybe even somebody behind you, you can assess what they're like to race against, right? So if they're like almost losing control of their car every corner and they don't seem like they're placing it within like where they intend to place it, maybe you give that person a little bit more margin, right? It's up to us as the ones like driving the race car to make sure that that race car gets to the finish line at the end, right? And if that person is wildly inaccurate and then the moment you're next to them and you expect them to be accurate, that's on you. That's on you because you saw what their behavior was before you got there. Even if a steward would go like, "Yep, they lost control of their car and took you out. The penalty's on them," or whatever. Doesn't matter. Your car's crashed. It doesn't matter at that point. So, did I say Stewart weird? Steward? I said Stewart.
I, you said
Stewart. You know,
the way you said Stewart, I was like Stuart Little. Who are we talking about?
I literally said Stewart. Yeah, I said
Yeah.
Stewart, but I meant steward. Duh.
Funny.
I know when I say something dumb because Tom's face goes like, "Oh."
I had to type it out to get it out of my head. I had to type it. Yes,
So
exactly what I thought of. No, look what I could do.
Tom's talking about a
Oh,
GIF.
Mad TV.
But
Mad TV's
but you
good.
need to assess like how much you can trust that person. And if you're coming across somebody that looks like they're completely overdriving their car and whatever, then you don't have to pass them by being like right next to them and like battling them like a couple corners like in a row. You can poke and prod them until they make a mistake big enough where you just drive past them. Those are like that's the easiest way to deal with people who look like they're basically crashing on their own anyways. You can help them out by just like mounting a little bit of pressure and then just watch the pressure boil over and then you can just cruise on by. Like that's how I generally deal with people who look like they're crashing. Now here's the meta move, Tom. You ready?
Ready.
Sometimes,
Wait, let me sit down.
yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, now you ready? Sometimes you make it look like you're crashing. So then people are a little bit more hesitant around you, but really you're in full control of your car. I've pulled that one out.
I've heard one person in real life say that they do that. Patrick Gallagher said that when he was in MX5 Cup, he wanted everyone to think he was a weapon.
Yeah, I do that. I
Yeah.
100% do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It works.
Good for you. I'm not good enough in sim racing to do that.
No, I do
I'm
in
more the
real life
person that looks
too.
like I'm gonna crash all the time. I do. Yeah, Phil says he does it on accident. Does that count?
Nope.
Sure.
Nope. You're the person that I'm talking about. You got to put the pressure on, the boil over, and then you drive past. Sorry, Phil.
Did you ever have this racing game for PlayStation? You were a PlayStation kid? You're an
Only
Xbox kid.
PlayStation only existed to play Grand Theft Auto. I really didn't. And Gran Turismo 1. That's basically
There
it.
was this game called Total Immersion Racing that was actually pretty good, and it had the system with the AI in the racing game. The closer you stayed with them, they had this little bar over them, and it would like go from green up to yellow, and when it got to red, that was like the pressure bar, and like they would spin off
That's kind of
after
cool.
you like if you stayed close enough to them, it would just
Yeah.
like build, 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 build.
That's pretty good. I like that.
It's kind of silly in a video game, really, but
Yeah,
it
but
actually, I
whatever.
mean, it teaches it. Yeah.
Yeah, it teaches it. Um, I I've been doing this. I've been practicing because I signed up for this league that looks it looks the people that are running at the front in the GT4s seem like they're really fast. So I've been practicing for. They're on a Red Bull Ring on Monday, and so I signed up for this league to go do it. And I've been practicing by if I don't have time to do a race, I'll join the race as a spectator and then drive with people. And then like you ghost right through them, but you can drive with them so you see exactly where you're losing time or not losing time. And then if I like let's say Like if I just
Oh,
drive away from them, then I'll actually wait for them to come back to me because even if I'm faster overall in a lap, they might be doing something better than me somewhere else during the lap where I can like pick up on how to go faster. So that's something I've been doing recently, and it's seems like it's actually working really well.
I have never thought to, that's so smart. I have never thought to do that on purpose. Um, so explain how you do it again, because I forget how you end up in that
So
being able to drive, but you're a ghost.
yeah, so when an official race launches, after it launches, you can't join it anymore as like a participant, but you can join it as a spectator. So you would go into like the series and then you scroll down a little bit and there's a big blue button that's like spectator or whatever. And when you click that, it shows you all the available splits, and the splits is like they're split by skill level, I rating. And so I obviously pick on the highest I rating one, and then I'll go in and try to chase down the fastest people. So if I don't have time to do a race and just like actually race them, but I'm like, well, I have like 10 or 15 minutes, I'll jump in, like do some laps like in the beginning of the race, get like see how and then I can also observe them, like if there's any like weird esports stuff of like tire warming and stuff like that, then I get to see that
Yeah.
because I'm in spectator mode. And uh and then it's like I'm racing but I'm not, and then when I'm done I'm just done, and I just pull off to the side and like turn the sim off, and it doesn't affect my I rating or anything, but I get the same level of practice I would as if I jumped into a race. And because it isn't a race, and it is a race for them, I can, if like they lose me or whatever, I can just like cut the track, whatever. There's no black flags or anything, and then like catch them again. So I can keep doing that, and then like maybe they'll slowly drive away from me, and I'll just cut the track a couple times and get like right next to them again. I get that instantaneous feedback of where are they faster than me, what are they doing better, and sometimes they'll be in different cars. So then I'm learning. Okay, so the Mustang's really good here, but not here. So now I'm like building a an experience that I wouldn't normally build, because normally I would just qualify really well, and I would just like drive, and either I'm just following one car or like a pack of cars, or I'm just in the lead and I disappear and I don't get to learn the things that I'm learning by going into the spectator mode. So I'm like learning where some cars are better than others and how I can use that to my advantage. So stuff like that. Like, is the iRacing is a great tool. You just have to be kind of clever and creative in how you're using the tool.
I think you accidentally stumbled on really good advice there, because I also forget you can drive in spectator mode. The only time I've done it, I was trying to play a hosted lobby with some friends, and they accidentally set the driver limits, like the iRating limit,
Yeah.
so that I wasn't eligible. But then I remembered I could spectate and then drive. So I was in the race, quote unquote, in the race, and they didn't know where I was, but I could see all of them. It was like it was at Bathurst, so I could just like drive through people on the
Yeah.
mountain and
It's
stuff.
hard to drive through
It was
people
like
because you
kind of
can't.
amusing.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard. It's so hard to drive through people because they don't ghost or anything, so you can't see at all.
Yeah, yeah, you can't see anything. But I've never thought to do it on purpose for that learning reason. Yeah, that's smart. Is damage on?
I'm not crashing while I'm doing laps by myself, so I don't know.
Oh, well, it must be nice. I was gonna say,
Well,
I was
I
gonna say
say
if
that
damage is off and there's no black flags and you can just drive through
I
people,
say
this
that
sounds like my ideal version.
as I recently just crashed while we were doing a race together, but normally
Yeah.
I don't crash on my own. So Raul says yes, damage is on while you spectate.
Ah, shoot. All right, I'm out again.
Yeah. But there's
Damn.
no off tracks or cut penalties. So like you can just like, if the track has a different layout, or if it has like extra runoff, like Red Bull Ring is like, it has the worst off tracks ever in a track. Like they're so vague and like weird. But you can just like sail it like full radius into a corner and gain like a half second. So like if you're getting left for dead, then you can just like open up one of these corners, and then you're like, cool, now I'm right back here to instantaneous feedback.
Yeah, I like that. Give it a shot, Drew.
Yeah, give it a shot. So, like, yeah, Drew, go into some spectator races of the faster splits, or at least splits just faster than you, where you can learn stuff. Because if they're just driving away from you, you're not going to learn that much. But jump into those the splits where they seem to be just a little bit faster than you, and chase them around as long as you can.
I like it. All right, do we have time for one more? How long have we been going?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. We had a power surge, so I don't know what the
Right. Okay, well, let's answer Ryan's question mostly for you, and then we'll call it. So this is from, excuse me, Ryan from Spicy Cat Racing. I have a question. DJ will know why I'm asking, but I feel like it might be beneficial for the group, and DJ has knowledge here. Anyway, why and how did Mew become the biggest thing in brake pads? And talking about any correlation between issues with bending in corner entry, high Mew pads, and modulation in conjunction. I said that kind of weird. Talk about any correlation between issues with bending in on corner entry, high mu pads, and modulation in conjunction. Okay. How often do people consider pad choice in relation to driving characteristics of entry rather than stopping alone?
So
You're gonna put your brake hat back on.
yeah, I'm gonna put my brake pad industry hat back on. Um, I I think the high mu pads literally came from people trying to chase each other on graphs. Because if you've ever seen a graph, they have like mu, like friction, as the y-axis, and then the x-axis is like temperature. And I think the layman who doesn't really like, I would say 90% of people driving on track just need the thing to slow the car down. And they're not into the phase of their driving where they're like using the brake to manipulate the attitude of the car. So when they get on the brakes and the thing starts slowing down and it does that very quickly and very responsively, I think to the layman person, I think they go, that's a good brake pad. And unfortunately, uh, those are the people buying most of the brake pads. So I think that's why you see these like super bitey, not controllable brake pads, because they look good on a graph and they can sell them. And the initial impression of these people still figuring driving out uh will think that man, this pad is great. So I think that's why it exists.
Remind us what mu is.
Oh, mu is friction. Sorry. So it's a measurement of friction. It's like torque to pressure. It's like a variable essentially. So however much pressure is on the rotor from the brake pad, how much torque is being created to like slow the rotor down. So it's a measurement of that.
Okay.
So that's why you have all these like super high mu pads that aren't very controllable. But there's plenty of really good driving pads out there, and those are like typically like the lower mu pads. Um, Project uh, Project Mu club racers are very controllable. RSL 29, those are super controllable. Hawks Ear ones, those are very controllable. Um, what's some other really good controllable pads? The DS 2500s, even though it's not much of a track pad. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of like really nice driving pads out there that aren't just all friction. So and sometimes like a higher friction pad on like a really fast car like instills some confidence that like maybe you're not at the point of driving where you're like balancing the nose on entry, and by just having the confidence of like a super bitey pad will actually net you a faster lap time than one that's giving you like ultimate control. So it kind of depends on where you're at in your journey, but then also kind of what your preferences are, because people like different things for their feet and how they interact with cars, right? So like everyone
Yeah.
drives it differently.
So for the part of his question, how often do people consider the pad in relation to driving characteristics on entry rather than stopping force? I agree that's like a one to one. As you get better at driving, you start to understand that that's part of what a brake needs to be doing. But here's a question I don't know if I can answer right away. How do you describe to somebody how to pay attention to, are they at the point in their driving abilities or their let's just say driving,
Oh man, we're going back to
that
so
it's
many phone
time
calls I had just trying to
that
like
it's time
suss
to
that out.
consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get a good answer to it? Did you get a I'm trying to
So
think what I would say to people, and I'm thinking of the details of what it felt like. For example, when I got off the Hawk DTC 60s are really bad about limiting the way the car bends into the corner or rotates into the corner
The window's
on
very
brake release.
small.
Yes.
The correct input window to have the car, like, balanced is super tiny on the DTC 60s and 70s.
Right. So as I was driving those on my S2000 for a whole season basically before the ER1 came out, um, I'm thinking of the detail of what that felt like and how I would verbalize it. But okay, I said enough. Go. What do you
So
think?
basically, so when I was on the phone, and so because people would call in trying to figure out what brake pad they should run on the thing, I would just kind of like shoot the shit with them for a little bit and just kind of try to get a gauge for like where they were at in their driving journey. And if if um if I talked about like using the brakes to like move the weight around the edge of the car and I could tell I lost them a little bit, then I would just be like, you know what? You're going to love this pad. And I would like put them on the bitey pad. Right. Like, cause
Okay.
they would
Okay.
love that
Okay.
pad because they weren't in the area yet where they were balancing the car on its nose on the entry of the corner. But then if somebody, like even kind of hinted that they like were following what I was talking about, then I was like, okay, like you're gonna want the ER1 is like the as the pad that you want to use because I worked at Hawk, so like that was our controllable option. That was the only like controllable pad that Hawk had at the moment. Now they have HPX, but again, that's not a trackpad. The only controllable trackpad they have is I think HT10's kind of controllable, and then but the ER1's like ultimate control. And unfortunately, neither of those pads like work with heavy fast cars. So Hawk just doesn't really have anything for heavy fast cars. Not like Pagid, the RSL 29 is perfectly fine on like a heavy fast car, and it's like really controllable. So if somebody had like a heavy fast car and they needed something that Hawk didn't have, then it's just like, hey, our only option is this. And like I bet most of the time they would just buy it, not knowing that like there's something better. But one of the perks that Tom and I have is we get to drive a bunch of different stuff on a bunch of different brake pads. So we actually get like if you think about like how hard it would be for somebody to get like experience on dozens and dozens of brake pads and like dozens and dozens of vehicles, that'd be really hard for somebody to like gather that experience, right? So I'm sure
Yeah,
Tom.
that's what I'm trying to put words to it. So it's I mean, it's kind of like describing the differences in the way tires feel, but it does basically simply come down to do you get what you expect from it? So
Yes.
for example, my analogy with the Bridgestone to the Continental ECF, the 200 treadwear Continental. When I was on Bridgestones, I got what I expected like 99% of the time. When I was on the Continental in the same car, I got what I expected
60,
like
70.
50-50. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was like completely hit or miss. How that feels,
Taylor.
the details of it.
Hold on, can we call it
What?
Taylor? You went Conti ECF, the NPC of tires. NPC means non-playable character.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that's great.
So with a brake pad, if you're paying attention to this and you're maybe questioning if you're feeling what the brake pedal feels like or what the brake pad feels like and what we're talking about, if you don't get what you expect every time you come off the brakes and you start to notice that that's maybe not entirely your fault or maybe your car's not actually pushy all the time but it's pushy sometimes or it's a little
Or like you're just
difficult to
having
if
trouble
it
getting the nose to where you want it consistently, like as you come
yeah
off the brakes.
that would be the time to consider like maybe the brake pad is not working with my car the way that I want it to
Yeah.
because it's too much mu because it's too much stopping force. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Well, it's so brakes, they operate differently. We're getting real nerdy on this one. I like this. I like this episode. Um, so the pad interacts with the rotor differently depending on the speed that the rotor is moving past the brake pad. So and as it heats up. So with the DTC pads, for instance, it it has a really good interaction with the rotor when it's fast. That's why it has like a lot of bite because when the rotor's moving fast past the pad, it doesn't give a shit. It's just like, yeah, whatever, rah, and it just grabs onto it, right? So but what happens is as the pad like heats up, it doesn't want to release off the rotor either. So there's a um uh oh, I'm blanking on the word. It's a it starts with an H. It means like a delay.
Magnet.
No, it's on like the tip of my tongue. I forget what it is. It means hysteresis. There's a hysteresis
Oh my god.
between the rotor torque and the brake pressure. So you'll if you graph this like on a dyno, you'll see that the brake pressure will start releasing off, but the torque won't follow the brake pressure. There's a hysteresis between it. So there's like a delay in when that happens. And what that feels like as a driver is you start to go release off the brakes, but it doesn't release. So then you're releasing more, and then it does start to release, and there's like a disconnect. The best way to describe it to the gamers out there, it's like playing a first person shooter on like a high latency TV. So like as you're doing the inputs, you're not noticing your in like the output of your input immediately. So it makes it a little bit tougher to predict what's happening.
Copy. I follow.
You followed that? I didn't lose everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. There might have been some hysteresis with me keeping up on you, but
Yeah, you got it. You got it though. So like I was part of the development process for the HPX pad that Hawk is gonna launch at some point. Apparently you can buy it. I just don't know if they're shipping it yet. Uh is the main thing that was focused on was the hysteresis between brake pressure and rotor torque. So like the delay in that should, if the dyno data is anything to point at, it should be industry leading. Like that was the thing that was being aimed at for that brake pad was the hysteresis between the brake line pressure and the rotor torque.
there you go. Oh, the chat is talking about car weights and stuff. Maybe we did lose them.
We lost him. Well, so
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Devin asked like what brakes he should put on his like 3,200 pound you know 350Z or whatever. And Devin, maybe just PM me after and we can have like a conversation, because I can't just I hate to just give like a blanket like this or this. Like you kind of because pads are like ice cream flavors, like not every brake pad is, oh my god, he wants instant gratification. You're gonna have to get temps and see if like the Ferodo 1.1s will work for you. Maybe some club racers, or if Pagid makes pads for your caliper, I would just do the RSL 29 because I love those. Those are I think that
Yeah.
might be my favorite pad.
I think PFC and Pagid were my favorite
Ooh,
brakes ever.
yeah, I forgot about PFC. The only thing I got against PFC, because that's what I ran on the race car, is sometimes the brake pad would just come. Yeah, they were super expensive, but sometimes the brake pad would just come off the backing plate. So I didn't like the way their mechanical adhesion to the backing plate. I think they used rivets, and those would just break sometimes.
You ever been driving a car and the brake pad falls out?
No, it's never fallen out, but like I would go to look at them and I would notice that the friction puck was not part of the backing plate anymore. It was just kind of like wedged in there.
Oh, okay. I was driving a CRX once on the highway and a brake pad fell out. I don't know how that happens.
It's because the friction material breaks off from the backing plate and then it like crumbles and falls out. And then the backing plate is the only thing in there. And if there's enough clearance, it can wiggle itself out.
Yeah. Huh. It's a little scary, but I lived.
But
Anyway.
for all the brake pad shoppers out there, you want to find something that has NRS adhesion, which is just a bunch of like little claws that are on the backing plates. And that way you can never have a like a total pad failure. Like maybe some of it can fall off, but because the whole backing plate has those little claws that hold into the friction material, you'll never have like a total like where did my brake pads go failure.
Sure.
Yeah, Kevin Zhu just said I had that style failure with the ST43s.
Oh. Another wonder of how cars even work. And this has been the Lizard Brains brake pad hour.
It
Nope,
has.
not hour.
You know, it's
10
been a
minute,
while
5 minutes,
since
whatever.
it's been a while since I talked about any of that, Tom. Considering I've been out of the brake pad game, and I'm watching stuff from SEMA, and I'm gonna have to say, Tom, I am so glad I'm not at SEMA this year. That was always grueling.
Is that right now?
Yeah, SEMA's happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like chatting with people that that still work there, and they're like, "Oh my god, please kill me!" Like they like it's just like SEMA just sucks. It's just so bad.
You're not missing your yearly trip to Vegas?
No, I'm not.
Ah,
No, No. Yep. I'm good missing SEMA. It's just a crowd of zombies walking around looking for manufactured garbage. And then every once in a while, you have a conversation with somebody about a brake pad or something or something. But most of the time, people are just asking for stickers and keychains and chapstick and whatever else they can throw in their bag from all the other stuff they grab from all the other booths. What are these people doing at the show?
All the people, yeah, all the people who are worth talking to there absolutely do not want to be there at all.
Yeah.
They all hate it.
Yep.
But that's how you know that I have like zero car content in my algorithms or anything because I didn't even know SEMA was happening right now.
Yeah, your content's looking great. I bet.
Yeah.
Look, guys, if SEMA's showing up in your algorithm, maybe take another look at your algorithm. Maybe we do have a Carlton chat, and Carlton he hasn't posted yet, but he's been known to lurk in the chat.
I'm a little shy, just all those people talking about cars in the car chat. I just don't want to, I don't want to take over the conversation with how much of a celebrity I've become because of this podcast. So I just thought that I would just let them have their car guy fun with their open hoods and, rev videos and exhaust reviews, and they'll just have a bunch of fun in there.
Carlton, you have a cat?
Oh my God, do you hear DJ's cat in the background? I mean, my cat in the
Also,
background?
zero chance. Do you know that you're still on the voice filter? I mean,
I'm not anymore.
okay.
I mean, Carlton, go
Zero
away.
chance Carlton zero chance that Carlton would understand how Discord works.
Yeah, he's a car guy.
What are you doing this weekend?
I hopefully go into that autocross event. If it doesn't rain, I'll take my Miata with the open diff. But if it rains, the soft top is barely a soft top, so I don't think it's a good idea to take the car out in the rain. Unless I bring a tarp. If I brought a tarp, it would be fine. Because if I'm moving, it would. I don't know. We'll see. Also, I don't really have tires. If it's raining, I'm not going. If it's not raining, I had to give her pets. If it's not raining, then I'll probably go to that. Or if it's raining and I find a co-drive, then I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try to go to the last like local autocross event of the year. What about you, Tom? Want to come and hang out?
I'm dog maybe. Well, I don't know if I can because I'm dog sitting Senna this weekend
Oh,
for Eric.
womp womp.
Just Saturday night.
That'd be
So
fun. You like Senna?
yeah, I do. Although he gets pretty mopey when Eric leaves, so he's not that much fun
Mm.
when Eric's gone. But even when I dog sit, I just go, yeah, we still hang out. I try
Yeah.
to take him on walks and stuff.
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
Make
yeah.
him forget that he's sad.
Senna always, anytime I'm at Eric's house, so I'll come over and Senna gets like moderately excited that another human showed up. But anytime I'm there and I get to witness when Tom shows up, Senna literally loses his mind for Tom O'Gorman. Just absolute goes bonkers.
Yep.
I wonder what it's like
Because
when
I'm
Eric gets
fun
home.
uncle.
I wonder what it's like when Eric gets home. Do you think Senna just like does backflips?
He gets stoked.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Eric's the one that feeds him, and like obviously that's his person. But like that's the only dog I've ever known like the dog's whole life.
Yeah.
So that that bond is pretty cool. But also like I play with him and I screw around with him. So I'm like the excuse to goof around and be a dog.
Yeah. Ryan in the chat said you're the Funkle.
I'm the Funkle.
Yep.
Funkle Gunkle. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
I have to find something to do at Eric's though.
Yeah.
Maybe I should like, if anybody has any ideas of how I could prank Eric's house, let me know. He'll never hear about this because he doesn't listen to this.
No, he doesn't listen to podcasts. I'm sure we can come up with some ideas. Let's get them in the general chat.
Take his car to an autocross, Andy says. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, Tom, you want to take it to an Akron Sports Car Club event?
Hell yeah. I like this. All right. All right. All
It
right.
just shows. Can you imagine? Eric would see his car in videos and stuff because people would take videos and they would post it and then whatever. And so Eric would just show up, or he would just see his car being autocross, and he's like, "When did I do that?"
Yeah, or just driving up 75 to get to the autocross. Even like he's spotted on the highway while he's in whatever state his wedding thing he's going to is in.
I'll bring some wrenches so we can move the seat so we can kind of somewhat fit in the car, Tom.
Love it.
I've never driven his car where I actually fit in it. I've driven his car where like I'm not even in the seat because of all the pads and pillows and things I'm sitting on.
Yeah,
Um,
he's already got a plan for that because he wants to endurance race it. He's gonna put sliders in that car just for you. I don't think he told you that yet though.
he didn't. Wow, way to
All right.
ruin the surprise. You know, I'm a little offended that Eric was surprised that I love New York. Eric thinks I'm like some kind of country bumpkin over here.
I'm actually a little surprised you like New York too. But I would love to go see New York through like the lens that you've seen it because I only saw it as a tourist for like 6 hours and it sucked.
Mm,
But like going and being there maybe sounds more fun.
yeah, no, we were living it. Well, we were living like we were like we had money and we also lived in New York. So like that's probably why it was so much fun.
Sure.
So
We'll go sometime.
yeah, we'll go. It'll be great. Well, maybe we'll make a podcast trip to New York and we'll just be hooligans. Oh my God. That sounds actually the greatest thing ever, does it not?
Like I said, I've only been there once and it sucked, so I'd have to go
All right.
try it again.
Lizard Brains trip. You know, guys, we were gonna plan on going to some racetracks. Oh, Tom and I maybe we'll put the feelers out now, and maybe we'll talk about it in the beginning of some other episode. But we're going to VIR Thanksgiving weekend, and you guys should join us. So, HOD Mid Atlantic. I think if you Google that, you'll end up at the right spot.
Booked on driving Mid-Atlantic. Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
So we'll talk about it in the beginning of the next episode, so people actually have time to plan for it. So, all right, Tom, you wanna end the show, and then I'll start editing this thing.
Sure. Yes, I have once again not considered what I'm going to say, but listeners, I love you. What? And
What?
your hope you hair wins.